Hello. Today, this is a Christmas special on 2025 recap on my good times and also bad times. Where do we start? Well, it's been a hell of a year, innit? I thought, COVID was bad, but I think everybody else in the world have caught COVID and they got brain dead in my eyes because something has happened to the world. Now, what's happened? Well, in the beginning of the year, it wasn't very good for me, to be fair, to be honest. It was like I got arrested again by my ex-Mrs. Marion. Got put into jail for a while because seemingly I was a naughty boy through a domestic, even though it was two in a relationship. I come out of jail and I decided I wanted to be single and left Marion. And then I sobbed in my flat for, months on end, drinking myself to death. It wasn't once, it wasn't twice, it was about maybe 3 times I ended up in hospital. Quite crazy, really, innit? But in the meantime, I was still tackling some guy on the internet called Valley420 in the sins that he committed and saying that I was lying in front of the community for 4 years of my life. He lied, put me through hell. Now, the story goes behind Valley420. Before he came to this community, I was secretly watching him with him and his cousin behind the scenes. So I had a upper hand on him because I knew everything about him. And when I exposed him to the public of him being, as you guys say on the internet, bacons, yeah, he denied it. And also he started crying in front of the community, saying that he wasn't, a paedophile. Well, and then he come out with some video of some child called Levi. It was apparently his child, but, it wasn't because Claire cheated on him with a guy called Craig Stones. He tried to convince the public the child was his, tried to look for some sympathy through donations on the internet, and you people were stupid to give it to him. That's okay, because it was only entertainment for you guys, okay? That's the correct story behind there. But when I accused Valley of having letters sent to his location, there was 95% of people on this internet was against me for 4 years of my life. I went through hell through the true people that was watching me and understanding why would Rise be so on his case every day and why would Valley be on his case every day. It's because Valley was literally playing me against my girlfriend, Marianne, behind the scenes. Marion was giving money to him without me knowing about it because she had the app of my bank on her phone. But the funny part about it was I was too blind to know what she was doing because I was seemingly in love with her. If you don't know what that is, there's two people that is in love with each other and will do anything for each other. Just like the make you understand what love is, because 95% of people on this internet thinks that love is just jumping in bed with somebody doing oh yeah, and that's it. But do you not think it's really bad that your girlfriend at the time was working with some guy on the internet that was already arrested for that kind of stuff? How many people in this, in my stream who used to be against me, and how many people in his stream was with him? I don't understand what the difference is between me and him. And there was a story that Claire was in a really bad place. And, I even made a statement that she strangled her, own baby. And then there was people against me calling me a liar. But guess what? It came out a couple of months that I was telling the truth. Also, may I update you people? You might say to yourself, why is Rise doing this now? Why is he bringing all this back up? It's because I've been punished enough on this internet, to be fair. And everything I've said on this internet has been the truth. I don't really need to come on this internet to prove anything to anybody. As you know, I was a gamer for many, many years, right? And it's the truth. I have been from the start. At 150,000 subscribers, came to, PlayStation, and I lost it all. Because I was playing songs in my actual channel. Seemingly it was a policy. But I've never lied. I have a laugh when I'm drunk and entertain you people like anybody else on, social media does. But it was an harmful jokes and playing about. It was no, putting anybody's life in danger, only myself, by drinking myself to death. As you all witnessed, I did legitimately end up in hospital more times than I can count. But when you think about it, I've never lied about Valley, even lied to the community, and we found out the truth that he said in his own words that his missus cheated on him. And if I'm rightly in saying, didn't he say that the next time the police would come to his house, he would give Claire over to the police, and also he would beat up his next door neighbour, if that's not correct in what I'm saying? Look it up. See, there's people that like me on his social media, and there's also people that like him. I've recently been saying, bring Valley back. Why? Why do you want that filth back on the internet for all the stuff that he's done? I don't get it. It's like you people are brain dead. He's saying things that no human being should even say in a lifetime. But it's okay. That's what I went through for 4 years of my life. I went through hell for him to hide his dirty little secret on the internet. And then he came out with this letter about me that appeared out of thin air. Don't understand where it came from, but it really adds up now. Even the police no jokes about it, said it was fake. Yeah? And we all know where it came from now, don't we? Because when Colin Racy had letters sent to his house, he also basically put my name on it through library. And if people don't know how that works, you can go to the library, get Tipex, stick it into the computer to print it, and then you can put your own name on it, whatever you want to do. Kind of clever, because he's also done it to me. But you guys believed everything about what he was saying. And there's people out there that has been watching me, KK, and also watching Valley, and also other people around the world. And they've seen and witnessed this, so they know the liar, who's a liar and who's telling, the truth. But that was my, time with him. And then we found out that he's getting done for being a racist, getting done for threatening to do stuff to people's family members, go into a public, a public, what do they call it? A public school to do things to, yeah, you get the picture, right? He's on charges for that. But there's nobody talking about it. They just wait until he comes back, right? When it's all over, and just say to him, good old boy, you've done a good thing with that. We'll buy you a beer. We'll send you some donations. But you don't sit there saying, I think it's wrong what you've done to Rise for 4 years, for no reason for your own crimes that you've committed yourself trying to put it onto him. What's he done? Got in contact with my family members. My sister made her say things that wasn't true, and I know my sister wouldn't say half of the shit without somebody putting in her head just to do it for entertainment purposely on the internet to see her own brother rage. But isn't she a woman, my sister, that has got a job as a person that looks after people with ADHD and disability? Isn't she in work in that? She works as a carer for him, looks after him, and she's supposed to understand people like that, even though she's got a brother like it. But she wants to go on social media and throw all that shit out because Colin Racy told her to say it. Oh, but that wasn't it. Then my sister came to Scotland and stood in my actual living room and told me that my father wasn't my father. And her excuse was she was coming to Scotland because her boyfriend put the fucking passport in the actual wash machine and they had to get a new one. Oh, but wait. Then I text my mum and asked her that question. And my mum also said, in her own words, that's a bit odd. Why couldn't she basically get it down in England? Why did she have to go all the way to Scotland just to go to your house to tell you something that was nothing to do with her? So she didn't just fuck my life up online. She wanted to come to my house, stand in front of me, look me in the eyes and say, by the way, you've been abused by your dad all this time. He took advantage of you. But I'm missing one part out. You are not actually his son. So I questioned my mum and asked my mum, is it true? For a year, I couldn't get an answer off her. And eventually, she just gave up. I give up. But now I'm living a life thinking that was a lie, knowing that seemingly I went through all that for what? Nothing. You know? After leaving Marion, the jealousy started. Marion went online and started calling out my new, partner, calling her a slag and so on. This is a recap of my life, right? And then she was drunk, saying all that shit. After the fact, she was with the enemy while she was in the relationship with me. She got paid. She paid him to troll me. And she admitted that, even online. So I was sitting there working out, well, she said she loves me. She said she'd do anything for me, but in the meantime, she's sending money to him. And you people are going to say, well, didn't you send money to him, Rise? Well, I didn't have no choice to send money to him, unfortunately, because Marion had my bank card on her phone, had the app. So wherever money went into my account, she would automatically transfer it into her account when my money drops on a certain day of every month, right? So just say my money dropped on the 10th of March. That money by 10 o'clock, or not 10 o'clock, by basically 1 o'clock or half one, whatever, would be in her bank account, and I couldn't stop that happening because she would have ability to do that. She was also buying me drink to keep me sweet. Sometimes I would say I don't want a drink, and she'd buy me a bottle of rum, 1 litre. And she'd say to me, oh, go and do a broadcast, go call Valley out. But she wasn't just doing it to me. She was also paying Valley to basically do it to me too. She was paying Valley to do it, also paying me too, if you work it out, getting me drunk to go online. And then she would say, after the fact, and everything went dead, all the drink went dead, all the money went dead. This is the argument I would have with Marianne. Well, you was too concerned in your flat. You didn't once in a month come down and see me. You didn't care about me. And I was like, wait a minute, didn't you say to me I can have a full month up there and there would be no arguments? See, when the money was gone out of my account and she was spending it, have to give me a certain amount to basically drink myself live online to make a fool out of myself, then the attitude would start. Then the attitude would be, well, if you didn't come down last month, what's the point coming down this month? You know what I mean? And then she goes, to be fair, at least I had a quiet fucking month to myself, you know what I mean? There was no, like, a phone call in the meantime. She didn't phone me up to see if I was okay, because obviously she was watching me and telling Valley to troll me. I'm paying him my money out of my bank account, even though she transferred it into her bank account to him. You know, it's kind of fucked up relationship. It was based on alcohol, and it was also based on, you know, abuse. And then she did a video in a stream with a shagger and also furry slippers, and she was also in it with Valley, if I totally correctly remember. And she was saying that I used to go down her house and then I'd be waiting outside for 2 hours, and then the neighbours used to say, oh, by the way, you go or I'll phone the police. Well, if you want to hear the real story, because I'm not with her now, I'll tell you, because I think I've said it before in the past, but this is generally what happened. It would take me 1 hour and 20 minutes to 1 hour and 30 minutes to get from my location to Marion's location. I would go down to her house because she would ask me for 500 quid out of my money. I could have transferred it to her, or I could have sent it by, I could have given it to her by, you know, what do you call it? Give it to her personally. So she would make an excuse for me to go down there to give it to her, because she would say to me, oh, I'll meet you at this location, or I'll meet you at that location. So I think there's one time I tried to meet her in a certain location. I think it was by Tesco's, actually, and she wanted me to give the money to her. But the time that I went to her door, that was kind of like a little setup that she did. She said, I want you to come down. I want to speak to you. I want to have a word with you about something. Can you bring money down for me, 500 quid, so I can have in cash? So I said, no problem. So I'd go down, give her the money. But the trick is, she wouldn't leave me in your house. She would say to me, oh, you ain't got the money. I would say, yeah, I have. So she said, prove it. Put it through the letterbox. But me being stupid and, you know, gullible, used to put my hands through a letterbox with 500 quid, yeah? And she used to take it off me. And then she said to me, well, you can wait out there now, right, until I'm good and I feel good enough to leave you in. So in a way, she was technically right that I was waiting there for a long time, is because she is the one who told me to sit down and do that. Not because I wanted to, is because she asked me to, because she said she was going to go out with me or wait out there for a minute. I need to shower. I need to do my hair. So really, when you technically think about it, she's right. No police got called. The only time, you know, that happened is when she was physically drunk, asking me to come down, and then she'd basically ring them for no reason, and even the police clicked on what she was doing. She was a bad alcoholic, right? But it was, you know, and then she said that I put my hands through the letterbox and got my hand stuck and shit like that. That wasn't even the true story. That was just a load of bollocks. And I don't get why people online are believing that, because it's kind of sad, really. Anyway, when I left Marion, I thought that would be it. And then she attacked, you know, KK, calling her a slag. Well, what she needs to know is KK didn't have sex with me on the first day. It was like a week later she did, actually, to be fair. But when I met Marion, didn't you have sex on the first day of me, Marion, when I met you? You was in our bedroom quicker than somebody took cookies out of the fucking cookie jar. Do you know what I mean? You dropped your knickers, but you know what I mean? Kay didn't. She wasn't a slag. And she wasn't after my money. And I'll tell her in the video. Kay doesn't ask for money. I give my money to her. So when people say she's only with you for your money, she's not. And then I see the little bit of jealousy kicking in with Marianne. And then, you know, Veli started going on the bandwagon, because he knew in the background he was having tobacco, you know, is it called Toby's chocolate, cigarettes, you know what I mean, sent to him by her. But wait a minute, didn't seemingly Valley receive a letter off Marion and it was sent to Valley off Marion? That's what that letter's supposed to have come off? That's what, you know, Valley said? That's a true story, right? In his eyes, and it's a true story because Valley told you. But let me ask you a question. Marion made a statement and said, oh, she knew about that letter on the first day that she met me. But this is a message to Marion. So Marion, you got with me, and obviously you read my letters, even though there was no letters on my actual body when I came to your house, because the only thing was on my back was my coat. Yeah? So can you clarify with the public, if you're saying you knew that letter was on my present and you knew about it, and you said to the public that I'm supposed to be a paedophile, yeah? Can I ask you something, please? Why was you in bed with me, and why was you in a relationship for 7 years of your life if you knew that that was true in our letter and you sent it to Valley? Because you know, Marion, I cleaned all your cupboards, I cleaned all your drawers, and I also cleaned everything in your flat. That letter never existed, but you're making out to the public it did. And do you not find that a bit weird, people, that she's telling the public that it's true, but unfortunately she was bedding me for 7 years of her life? Do you not find that weird? Mm-hmm. Odd? But she's calling me a paedophile, but she bedded one in her eyes. When I left her, that's when all this came out. It didn't come out before, it came out after. And it also came out of, you know, Valley's mouth that what I was saying about Claire was true. She did cheat on him. For 4 years of my life, I got targeted by a guy that was trying to hide his crimes. I don't think that's right at the end of the day. My life pretty much got destroyed for even telling the truth. But the moral of the story, people, I will say this. If you know something is true, please just keep it to yourself, yeah? Because no one on this internet, on this YouTube, is going to believe you, because they will say to you, oh, show the evidence, show the proof. Kind of sad, really, you know, you have to do that, even though you've heard it, seen it, and witnessed it. But what put the nail in the coffin is when his next door neighbour come online and said that she did receive the letter. And I was, you know, good night, Valley, sweet dreams, hope your flies protect you in the future, kinda. But that was my life so far in 2025. Then I met up with KK because I was, you know, writing songs to her. I had an attachment to her. You know, we clicked. So I paid for her to come to Scotland, even though Valley had a ticket paid for him, even though he's been saying for the last 4 years of his life was going to beat the shit out of me, and he was too scared to get on a fucking bus to come to me. So I decided to pay for KK to come, because she wanted to see what I was like in person. She had feelings for me, but she didn't know what they were. So when she came to my flat, after me picking her up from the station, bus station, she totally fell in love with me on our instant first meet. So the question is to you people is, if you ever meet me in life, you will generally fall in love with me, right? No jokes. Kay will admit that, because she did. It was a battle between meeting Kay of what she thought of me, and it was a battle of what she thinks that I think of her. So we was talking, she was getting to know me and I was getting to know her. It was never any dirty talk like that. It was all about respecting each other's views. YouTube didn't exist at this time. That app didn't exist until after the fact that we declared it to ourselves that she had feelings for me. She understood what she was feeling and I understood what I was feeling for her. It was kind of like the last of the jigsaw puzzle got connected. And also, in the meantime, I didn't know, and I will clarify this, when Kay was single, in her own private time after splitting up with her ex-boyfriend, Multi, as known as Jamie Haig, she also was going online speaking to individuals when she was involved in Discord of a guy called Olaf. Yeah? Olaf is a guy that was communicating with KK that lives in York. And his job is working as I think it's kind of like a farmer. And he doesn't come on between 5 and he doesn't come on between 4, right? Every day. Olaf got attracted to Kaylee, and also he wanted Kaylee and himself to have one, romantic moment online with each other. But in the meantime, Kaylee didn't know that he was taking photos of KK's private parts to use that against her in the future. It's kind of like sad, really, when you do that. They two grown-ass adults, But when KK declared her love for me on the internet in front of the community, then the threats happened. Yeah, the threats happened. KK had to tell me everything on that day, before we declared it online. So I knew partly of the conversation. I knew who she met, who she slept with, who she talked to, and who she messaged. Including you, what do you call yourself? It's not fantasy stories. It's who's the other one you used to talk to? The other boy, young boy. Jaden, even Jaden. Yeah, you got, Kay on Discord. And also, Olaf has got a dog. And what was the dog called, Kaylee? Chloe. Yeah, Chloe. See, it's kind of funny when you think about it, Olaf. This is where the interesting conversation goes ahead. When you found out that me and KK was an item, that's when all this, hatred happened, didn't there, Olaf? Or shall I call you incel community? Because that's who's behind this profile, people, incel community, yeah? Even though he's saying, oh, I ain't part of Discord because I've got a job. I don't stay in bed all day playing on fucking COD like the rest of the bacons in Discord. So I was sat there yesterday thinking, well, he goes to work between, 8 to 9, 9 to basically 5 to 4 in the evening. So it would have really made sense, really, what he was saying. Don't stay in bed, up early in the morning, and he was basically going out to work and then coming back. And then when I analysed it and sat down and talked about it, it did make sense because the posts would be posted between 5 and 4, to be fair, right? So he can sit there trying to say that it's not him. And people are going to say now, well, Rise, Anonymous, you were accusing of being Olaf, right? How can he be in incel community stream in his Discord commenting and also comment in your stream at the same time? But I figured out, KK told me She said to me, right, do you not know how people capture every person broadcasting at the same time? And I goes, no. So she told me a little secret. When these people on the internet are watching us, like, you know, everyone that gets captured, they haven't got just one stream on their internet watching them. They got multiple screens constantly, and constantly got multiple accounts. In a way of, if Incel Community starts a Discord called Incel Community, and he's commenting as Incel Community, Olaf, known as Anonymous, could be commenting in the stream at the same time. Remember Anonymous, known as Olaf or Holmath, or whatever the fuck you call you? You was commenting in Kaylee's stream at the time when you put Kaylee's address out there in front of the community because you wanted to make out that you wasn't behind the Incel Community account. Do you remember that? Because I do. Because I got a good memory and I'm going to remember everything you done. And also you've got a snake in your community too, right? And the snake is Gluten. Because Gluten has recently got in contact with, you know, good old Kaylee Whaley, as you people say, yeah? And he's told us a lot about you, yeah? Olaf. He told us about your dog, he told us about your location, he told us about your family, he told us about everything about you. Where you're from, when you had to learn the English language because you're from a different part of the world. You had to have a visa when you came into this country to stay in the UK. We know everything about you because there's two people in that community that's basically against all you people. Gluten and also basically Cheeky Monkey. Yeah? I don't care because I'm going to tell the truth. So that's how the cookie crumbles. And then the letters got sent out to everyone of the false allegations against myself and Kaylee because Olaf, known as Anonymous, known as now Incel Community, got jealous because he had a little fling with Kaylee, and because he got with me, it started to basically kick out. But you do realise, people, do you know Holmath, known as Anonymous, known as Incel Community, do you not know that he hates my fucking guts for some odd reason from the beginning? And I don't know why. And that is the truth. Am I correct in saying that, Kaylee?
Yep.
There we go. He hates me, people. Right? Never spoke to the guy personally. Never had a good long conversation with him, but he hates me. But this is where it all comes down to, doesn't it, Incel Community? That little small circle that you've made on the internet that you thought that you could control, like Kaylee and all the vulnerable women out there, weren't there? And when you heard that Kaylee was with me, you thought, you know what? I'm going to start making a letters accusing of Kaylee of being, a child abuser and rise of being a paedophile. But guess what? You know, Anonymous, you're missing a little bit of a conversation. If you already knew that about Kaylee, why would you have a one-way with her online in front of you and Kaylee masturbating over her if you already had a mindset in your head that she was that in the beginning? I'll tell you why. It's because you wanted leverage on her, didn't you? You wanted to bully her. You do what I tell you or else. Because that's what Discord's all about, yeah? It's all about getting into your private information, threatening your family. If you do something wrong, I'm going to use that and your family will be fucked. Because that's how it goes now. You may as well give your soul over on that fucking thing. You know, Discord. That's why I never really joined it, because I knew what it was. Sharing in decent images of everybody on it. You know, kind of fucked up, really. So it came down with the jealousy within people. This is why he's done it. Kaylee played Discord, and Discord didn't like it. And also Olaf didn't like it. And I thought, Jaden text, Jaden text Kaylee and said, by the way, Kaylee, what's going to happen from now on? It's out of my hands and it's unstoppable. So Jaden's already warned us that something was going on in the background. He knew who was behind it. Yeah, he wasn't stupid, but he never said anything but that. And then the images went out with Kaylee trying to mock her and so on. Trying to use...
It wasn't a surprise to me.
So it was...
I already knew, but I'm not saying anything else.
I already know where she got that information from in the beginning, but I'm not bringing the other person into the conversation because...
I nearly had the pictures.
It's nothing to do with me. That was between Kaylee and them, how she found out. I'm not getting this other person in trouble because, to be fair, it's technically not his fault. I kind of like him, really. And, all the letters went out. You didn't just put Kaylee's life at danger, Hallmark, or whatever the name you call yourself. It's kind of a fucked up name, to tell the truth, like you, fucked up, yeah? You also put my life in danger. You wasn't happy just to, send it to my location. You made me lose my flat, and I could get reowned on that day, but I wanted to be with Kaylee. So I thought I'd be safe down in Kaylee's. And then you sent it to her house, where you paid people to go to her house with machetes to kill her. So you done worse to her than you did with me. But what people are missing in this conversation, people are going, oh, it was funny, it was hilarious. But what happened if Kaylee had her kids on that day without you people knowing about her? You would not just put her life at danger, you put her kids in danger too. And that's what's fucked up about that conversation. I don't care about myself. I was protecting her on that day. Why you think it's funny putting false allegations out there about her and me? What doesn't you community get? She's had a background, I've had a background, it's all clean. You can be taken to court, and if you really want to go down that road, then I'll sue you fuckers if it's possible for, putting our lives in danger and also slander. It's perfectly fine. Anyway, we had to be put in, protection because what you people did. And you sit there and say to us, why don't you come back on this community? Oh, because it's a fucking beautiful community, you know what I mean? It's great. We sit there, have a cup of tea, have a drink, and we fucking have a hell of a time. I can't wait for Christmas, because, the community comes together, and we pull a cracker together, because the fucking community is fucking crackers anyway. Let's work it out. You got Mongo repeating himself like a fucking parrot. You got PJ, doesn't know if he's gay or fucking straight, right? You got fucking Timmy, I don't know if he's drunk or he's fucking sober half of the time, and he's gambled away more fucking benefits than any fucker on this internet. And then he's talking about his winnings, but he never talks about how much he loses. Oh, PJ's hilarious. All the women are basically against him. Well, turn gay, slush. But, and then it goes back to, Jamie. He's continually fascinated by, his ex. Mental. But that's my 2025, pretty much cleared up. Realistically, that's cleared up much as I can remember. Now me and Kaylee are happy, she is happy, we literally just bought a Christmas tree and we've put a load of presents at the bottom. And we've actually put on the top as a star, fucking Mongo as a fairy. It's lovely. Yeah? Nah, jokes. But I wonder what 2026 brings us. Because I don't think 2025 has been great this year, is it, people? And that's my honest opinion anyway. It's not like you wake up in the morning and you're excited for anything anymore, is it? It's always the same shit. You just get excited when PJ goes live talking about his fucking, is women. Oh, and that's what I forgot too. I forgot about, I met up with, Jamie to have a fight. Do you know what? That was the most embarrassing moment in my whole entire life. I wasted my time going to the Christmas tree in Birmingham. I may as well have just basically decorated the fucking tree, to be honest with you, because nothing happened. And then you people are online saying that you beat the shit out of me. Clarify where that happened. I went to go towards him. He pushed me. I slipped on the floor. I broke my hand. I tried to get back up. He pushed me down again, and he was punching in my hood. No one got knocked out because I got back up willing to challenge him with a broken hand, but he was too pussy enough to hide behind the guards. Or should we say bouncers. Who won that fight? No one, technically, because he was pathetic. But anyway, that was 2025 anyway. The next person you will be hearing is Kaylee giving her 2025 journey. And yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to hear two sides of a story, how different lives were led before me and Kaylee got together. And it's absolutely fucking lush. So I'm going to stop this now. And the next person that you're going to hear is the one and only Princess K. Hello people, this is KK's journey in 2025, and hopefully 2026 will be much better than this year. So I'm going to be questioning KK on the certain events that have happened in the past year and ask her how it's affected her through the beginning till now. So the first question to Kay would be, Kay, as the first, month came in of the year, can you tell us when you realised that it all went wrong for you as a individual?
When we got doxxed, when Mongo was still living with me.
And how did that make you feel after going through all that, packing and moving into a new property? And how did you feel that you got doxxed once again, even though you was trying to get away from people from finding you, and you had a boyfriend that was constantly online giving away your location?
Well, they didn't exactly give away our location. They went through every avenue to find us because Mongo was egging them on to do it by pestering them, badgering them, winding them up. So they had to go through every avenue, and the avenue was they went through a credit file and they found me and my new address. So obviously they trialled it by sending 2 takeaways. We ignored them. Mongo made a video of himself in front of a different doorway, but they weren't falling. They fell for it, but they weren't falling for it. But at the time, we felt like it was bypassed, but not bypassed. And then they sent a gas check, and unfortunately we was in, and we had to answer the door, and Mongo was live, so they knew certain that we was living there.
So when you chucked Mongo out on the day that it happened, when your mother was in your property, can you explain what happened in that time and why he got put into a tent, in his own words? What led up to that, for that to happen?
Because he kept arguing with me, abusing me. I had enough of the relationship. He was abusing my mother, telling her to leave even though she had nowhere to go at that time because of the way her lifestyle was.
And did you feel sorry for him when you kicked him out on that day and you saw him in a tent still broadcasting to the public, even though that was the problem in the beginning?
But he didn't just get kicked out, Rice. He didn't just get kicked out and walk away. It weren't like that. He went to several different destinations, being live, slagging me off, wanting to come back. And in the night time he came back, trying to get him through the window. So police were called and they took him and they jailed him for up to a whole day. And they also found cannabis on him, so that's also why he got nicked for.
So is that when you got the harassment order against him for him not to come near you or even walk down the street in your location?
At that time they put an order in, but it wasn't an order to hold for so long. But when they released him, the police came back with him to collect his belongings and his dog, put him in a van and took him to his mother's house because they knew the relationship was over and it was my flat and he had to leave. But there was not really an order. I tried to get an order, but the police said there's not enough evidence to give that order.
So, as you heard, he made a statement online in front of the community saying why he got arrested through being a racist and going to the riot was because seemingly, as you as a carer, he said that you put him up to it and told him to go there to start trouble and fight for your kids.
No.
Is that right?
No, it was on the news in Plymouth. There was a riot going to happen, or a protest, but it wasn't even supposed to be a riot because people were told to behave. He said, I'm going, I'm quite interested. I said, if you go in, behave yourself, meaning don't do things in danger or into danger people. Just stand there and watch. But obviously he done the quite opposite and broadcasted his whole fucking evening, him throwing stones, being racist a lot. And not once was I there in that video, and everyone knows I was home because I was live at home. I even got an old stream up, I think it's on my old account called Kazulu, and it's still up saying off to a riot when it ended. So when I got there and I collected him, Mongo was talking to the police, and the police said to me, have you just turned up or have you been here the whole time? I said, just turned up. And he said, oh, that's okay because it's ended now. Because I think they were looking for people to arrest at that time. But Mongo, obviously, at that time, didn't get reported for anything.
So how did you feel when you viewed the footage of him throwing, stones into the public? What was going through your mind at that time, when he broadcasted that and he put people's lives in danger, could have, got somebody's eye out, or possibility could have killed somebody by throwing it, and they could have killed him. What was going through your mind at that time?
To be honest, I didn't care. Because it's not me in trouble. So I'm sorry, but I don't care. His actions is his actions. That's his problem, not mine. I told him to behave himself and he did the opposite. He's a 38-year-old man or whatever he is, yeah, because I can't even remember how old he is because I don't care about him that much anymore, that he just does what he wants. So to me, I don't give a shit.
So when you kicked him out on the day that you kicked him out and he ended up also arrested, and then he ended up in a tent as we all witnessed, and then he was still talking about you, saying that he was declaring your love for you at that time. And we also witnessed that when he noticed that you didn't care, he decided to get in contact with Natalie, even though you knew he had feelings for her. Did you expect her to go to the actual tent and do what she did at that time?
To be honest, I didn't expect him to jump in bed with somebody on YouTube. Not that I cared.
But you did see and witness him, masturbating in a toilet when you was in a relationship with him, correct?
Yeah.
So he made a statement that I like to clear up. He said that he was in love with her from the start. So my question is, if he was in love with her from the start, why did he stay with you, and why couldn't he just travel to her location if they were both in contact with each other at that time? If he's declaring his love for her and he knew that he was in love with her, knew her before, you personally, Because he said he knew her for a long, long time. He had feelings for her. He never loved you.
Because he quoted he had kids with me, so he felt stuck with me. And plus, he made a quote, I was only with you to keep a roof over my head.
So he actually used you for a roof over your head?
Basically, yeah. And because I had kids with him, that's the only reason why he stayed.
And also, when you went through the process of losing your children, he made a statement and said that you were suicidal and you wanted to kill yourself, and he said that he phoned the police and ambulance to help you. Where was he at this precise moment?
He was at his mum's house.
He was at his mum's house?
We split up.
You split up now?
At this point.
Yeah, so how did he find out about that? Was you on the phone?
Because I was on the phone to him. But then obviously when everything went wrong with us two and I chucked him out and he got with Natalie and they was all arguing, them two arguing against me all over YouTube, as we all know, that he turned around and said, oh, Kaylee, why don't you go and do something useful because you tried it before, meaning go and kill myself.
So he was enticing you to recap what, happened before without the public knowing about it. He wanted you to kill yourself. Even Natalie made that statement in the tent, correct? Because she made that statement too, if I remember rightly.
She didn't make that statement. She was on about Lola and Prim, rubbing them in my face, and he was on about me going to kill myself.
All right, I got my wires crossed there. So after he got kicked out and eventually got rid of him, he went with Natalie and he went to her location and he doxed her place, as we all witnessed. He basically got her kicked out of her property, but he was still, as we viewed, he was still, calling you, like saying, oh, I love you, and so on. We did witness it. Yeah, and then we seen a pattern that he was having arguments online with his new relationship broadcaster, the same thing that he was doing with you. But he was saying, if I'm not correctly, you was the problem. But he was in a new relationship, right? He could have changed his life around and he could have gone the right way down the path instead of putting a camera in his new relationship's face. But she lost not one, not two, but maybe 3 properties through him, and also his own properties recently, and he still sits there saying it's everybody else's problem. Do you know, there is no help for this guy, even though he's blaming other people for his own actions. So when that all happened and you seen that they were in a lovely relationship and you was happy that he was gone and you was watching in the background laughing your ass off because you knew this was happening and you knew what was going to go on, yeah? So when you saw, Natalie getting arrested, you thought to yourself, do you know what, leave her have a little bit of a taste of what I went through. But Natalie didn't believe you at the time because she was hearing what he was saying that you did. Now I think deep down Natalie understands what you've gone through. And then Lisa got involved. And then Lisa had her mind made up because he was on the bed crying his eyes out saying you did all this to him and stuff. He was doing it maybe because he wanted an approval, saying, oh, I love your daughter. I break down crying, making it look like that Kaylee was the problem. But in all this time, it was his problem because he had that camera in your face, like he had it in Natalie's face. So when he did what he did, got arrested, you decided to get on with your life. And then you was in Discord and you was talking to certain people, and can you, alert people what happened in Discord, how it become for you to join it, and how you met Olaf and all them great guys, as they call themselves on the internet. Can you explain how all that started and how they thought you was, could have been the the snake in the community in that actual Discord, but you got yourself out of it. Can you explain how that happened?
So the moral of the story is when I got invited to Discord, it took them a long time to get me in Discord. Meaning that when they sent Deluxe my way, while Mongo was still living under my roof because Deluxe was spending a lot of time on my panels, we start he was like saying, join Discord, Jaden wants you to join Discord, all the rest of it. It took me a while to, you know, agree to it. So then obviously I went into it. Jaden had me on Snapchat. That's what I was talking to him. I weren't really talking to him on Discord as such, Jaden. It was Snapchat more for him. And whilst I was in Discord, I got people that in there that don't like me. And I got people in there that just puts up with me, like we all do, I suppose. And they just talk about a load of shit in there, really. There's enough porn in there than there is on a porn site, I can tell you that. The things that get sent in there is quite explicit, to be fair. With all the boobs, fanny, the dicks, the lot. I've seen more natty Bible baptists fucking fanny and breast to leave me a lifetime, I think. It's quite scarring. But I went in there on my own being to see how it was, how it works, what people are talking about. Obviously, at the time, people liked me because I just got rid of Mongo, so everybody was basically licking my ass. So I thought, you know what? I haven't forgot of all the years what's happened to me. So I thought I'd play them at their own game by being in there. And the real truth why I was in there is to see what they was talking about, what they was planning, what. Obviously, it got boring. Nothing really was happening sometimes, and things were happening sometimes. But the moral story was that I was talking to certain individuals privately because I thought at the time we were basically acquaintance friends, basically. And people said they liked me despite Mongol being under my roof. But I was leveraged, unfortunately, to be trolled at the same time as Mongol by being doxxed. That's what they said. But I didn't notice that they had a motive behind all that. That's why they was being nice to me, and now I know. If I did anything wrong, I would be basically bullied, if you want to say it, because even when Mongo was gone, I was still receiving takeaways, and somebody put a stop to it and said, stop doing it now. And it was all lovely for a while, so I thought, you know what? They've stopped the takeaways. I must be liked. I need to stay on their good side. So I played everybody by being in Discord, playing you all, making think that I actually liked you. But I didn't really like any of you because I have a memory what you've all done. Like I said, I was only in there for intel. But you know what? Out of everyone that's been in Discord, I think I'm the only one that's managed to fuck a few people over in some sense.
So when you was in Discord and you met Olaf, you know, known as Anonymous / Incel Community, how did that become you to get in to do what you did in your private time? And was you aware that he took photos of you without your say-so? Like, was you aware that he was just using you to use you as leverage and took photos, did all that just to have one over you saying, you know, if you do anything, I got this on you? But you didn't know about it. You was automatically sharing that anyway without your say-so.
The thing is, though, Bryce, it wasn't really... I didn't know anything about it. Like, I knew they had a plan, but I didn't know what it was. So me at that time, too naive, single, just, you know, I did what I did.
Do you regret it?
I didn't really care in that moment. Because I'm not being funny, the guy who was giving me attention, it felt like he was actually there for me. He basically brainwashed me, if you want to say that much. He brainwashed me with kindness and used me. And I only accepted that until I noticed he was ghosting me. And then I knew there was something wrong because I'm not going into that.
So when I started doing videos on you and you noticed that you see that I was into you, even though I didn't know all this was happening in the background, you said that you had feelings for me, but you didn't know what they was. Can you explain what you meant by that? You, in your own words? Like, because you was watching me, clearly, behind the scenes. What was going through your head? You know, this guy is doing videos on me, he's trying to declare, you know, his love for me, and, you know, all this was going on in the background, and you thought to yourself, do you know what? This guy is, like, really legit, you know, and then after the fact that we got talking, I told the community about you asking me to go to a hotel with you, right? So you denied that, correct?
Yeah.
At the time. And then you thought that I had a motive, and you thought to yourself, oh, you blocked me and so on. And then it got to the point that I kept doing videos and videos and videos and videos. And then you give me a chance. You know, I was texting you and sending you voice messages. And then you decided to give me one more chance. Yeah? And then I invited you to come to Glasgow. But you did say, instead of you coming down here, I'll come to you. At that moment, you didn't come to Glasgow to have one night stand with me or sleep with me for that one night. You came to Glasgow, in your own words that you've told me and also the public. You came to get to know me as a person because you've seen that I was lonely, correct?
Mm-hmm.
When you saw me when you got off the bus, what was your first instinct as an actual person, truthfully? Looks, the way I treated you and the things I said to you, what did you think?
You're very quiet and kind.
Yeah. Anything else? Because if you remember back, I had to be a suitcase. I'd give you a cuddle, you know. If I remember, you needed a pee, right? And we had to wait because they wanted money to go into the toilets. And you said, don't worry about it. I'll wait until I get to a certain location. So we got a taxi, got in there. And I think we went back to our flat, didn't we? And after going to the flat, we had a good old talk for a long, long time. It wasn't at first you realised what the feelings was about. And then you got to, you know, you connected with me better than anybody else I ever spoke to. But you understood what the feelings was, but you didn't understand what they meant at the time. But it was like a week later we got together, did what we did, and then I was going shopping with you, and I said we should declare what we got online. But you had a secret, but you needed to tell me because you needed to say to me, oh, this is what happened when I was single, this is what's going to happen if I tell people online. So we both made an agreement to go online and say it. So you knew you had somebody that had images of you, but you didn't think that they would send it in the community for everybody to view. Jaden warned you, but it was too late. Alright? And it was a shock to a lot of people on the internet, to be fair. As you know, you spoke to my friend offline, and he said that was the best moment in YouTube history, what happened, in his words. But after that went, they started sending letters to my location. How did that make you feel when we was alone and then somebody decided to chuck stones at our window? What did you think at that time? Because you obviously phoned the police. What did you say to yourself? The letters have gone out. People have already made their mind up, correct? But the Discord already knew that was going to happen because they already warned us, and Jaden already warned us. Is that correct?
Yes.
So that happened. We didn't get kicked out for that actual point. We actually stayed there for a while, and also then the police took us and escorted us, not the first time but the second time. We went back. After the last time we went back for the cats, because we have to go all the way to Argos, if I'm correctly, to get a suitcase. No, it wasn't a suitcase, it was a cat box to put the cats in. Went back, and that's when you saw the last video on the internet of what you seen. Now, people are saying to me and KK, we got kicked out and drove out, and you got kicked out of Glasgow. No, we walked out with our head held high, because we know we didn't do nothing wrong. It was malicious, people online got jealous because they got done over by Kay. It wasn't so much about me, it was about what Kay did to you in the Discord. Because I was never part of Discord. You can use me as an example, or we only did it because Rise basically is this and Rise is that and you were this. But let me tell you something. I was there for 13 weeks on my own, and not one time the letters got sent out. But it's kind of funny. KK comes to my house, and then the letters got sent out. That's a bit dodgy, right? So you just thought to yourself, do you know what? I'm just going to blame Rise for all this, even though you know the real reason why you sent them. Over jealousy. Over because somebody had one over you. And you 5 great guys can't get that through to your head that a woman played you better than you played the community. But it didn't stop there, did it? When me and KK went back to her property, you decided to send more letters out. And then you paid for, as I said in my previous video, you paid for somebody to come in to do harm to KK, even though it was false allegations. And then you people can sit there and say that doesn't affect Kay and that doesn't affect me. You're wrong. Through you people online, what you've done to us, you do realise that KK is scared to go out. You know, Kay is, sometimes scared to go to sleep, and she wakes up with nightmares for what you people have done to her. But you people don't care, do you? You think it's good just to send silly letters out for the community to think that is true. But it didn't end there, did it? And then you people are still threatening us, thinking that we are bothered. We don't give a fuck. We really don't give a shit. Don't come back onto this internet, you said. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, you don't pay my fucking internet bill. And you sir don't pay my fucking, Kay's internet bill. So who the fuck are you to sit there to preach to us and tell us what we can't and can't do?
I think what it was is because they thought I was an easy target, so they could control me and what. I knew what was going on in some type of way, but no one dictates to me what I can and can't do, and no one is the boss of me. So when you all thought you got me under your table, I let you think you had me under your table, but actually I was stringing you along as much as you were stringing me along. That is facts. And you know what, Jaden? You're so stupid, right? Because do you remember when you and Veli was in the Discord talking about keys and letting yourselves in to Rice's flat? Yes, it was me that grassed. It was me who warned him, because that is disgusting and it shouldn't be happening. No one has a right to let themselves into anybody's houses. So I took it in my own hands and I told Rice. I did tell him to keep his mouth shut. But you know what? When it got leaked, you were questioning everybody, weren't you? Did you leak this? Did you leak that? And you know what? When it came to me, there was just no ifs or buts about it. You only asked me once and once only, and I told you, no, it wasn't me. Why would I do that? I'm not a grass. But guess what? You took that. So that's me 1-0 to you, basically, isn't it? Then you chucked everybody out in the Discord because you couldn't suss who grassed. And then you invited me back in, and I thought, you know what? This is great. This is great stuff. Do you know what I mean? So, to me, you think you're a good liar. I can play better. And that's truth.
So when all that happened, and you was trying to figure out who told me, and I actually told you who told me, but you still sat there questioning, oh, it couldn't be Kay. She's part of the Discord. She will never basically backstab us all. But guess what? You played her, right? And she played you better. If she, she's a really good chess player, because you never know, right, when her next move is. And that is, the best part of Kay. She's really, she surprises you on every move. But there's a message to incel community, yeah? Do what the fuck you want to do with me, yeah? And you can do what the fuck you want with KK. But guess what? Whatever you want to do, you've done. And whatever you want to achieve, carry on. Because do you know why? I don't care. You are going to be controlled by me and KK for the rest of your bacon life. And you know what? It is fucking a lush. Your life is dedicated to two people. And that is fantastic that we've got control over you for the rest of your born life until the last breath comes out of your body. Each day, each month, each year, each minute, each hour. You be thinking about us, looking up things about us, looking at our photos, looking at videos. And you know what? You don't have to physically be in control of somebody and tell them what to do. We can do it without us even moving a muscle or saying a word in cell community. Do you know why? Me and KK is an icon on the internet. Who are you again? You're just a sad act that goes off the first thing that comes to you, gets sent to you. You're controlled by the community. I bet you got that little Discord going now, yeah, and there's people in there telling you things about me and KK that's not true, and you're actually believing in it, all the stuff that they're saying. Because, you know, that's what the community does, right? They lie about things, but you can sit there and say it's all true. But the best part about it, I'm glad in a way that you've done what you've done because it's worked out perfectly for me. Yeah? It's worked out perfectly for KK.
Because I'm not doxxed anymore.
And we're more protected. And you know, you can think about...
I wanted to move anyway, to be fair with you, because obviously Mongo knew the address, you all knew the address. And it would have been a matter of time before takeaways would be sent again. But you know what? Even though the way you've done it was out of order, you did me a favour.
And you did me a favour too, to be honest, you incel community. It's because I was trying to move from our location anyway, because I didn't like it there. And the public knows that on YouTube. So you can sit there thinking that you won. But, you know, you didn't win. You kind of lost, really. Because you've just put us in a better predicament that we are now and then we was before. So, you know, you take that little, as you say, win underneath your belt and you treasure that, yeah? Because you didn't win nothing. You technically lost. And you're always going to be controlled by the community. Remember that. You are part of the bacon community. Because you do realise them people that you're talking to on the internet, as we know, fried egg, gluten, you know, they've said some fucked up shit about basically people's family members and you're there talking to them like they're your friends. You don't care, do you? You know, it's kind of funny how you can sit there judging two people that you don't know fuck all about. And you're taking other people's opinions and just making your mind up about it. But, you know, karma's a bitch. It'll come up and bite you in your ass eventually. That's fairly because it's happening to him right now. So, you heard KK's side of the story. You heard my kind of a story, what happened in 2025. It's been, you know, a crazy year. You don't know nothing about me in cell community or the public on YouTube. I've only started opening up to KK and told her things that you guys don't even know about me. And do you know what? I don't care what you say about me. Sticks and stones can't hurt my bones. You know what I mean? People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones in cell community because you're sitting there and telling me you've never done anything wrong in your life. How do we not know when you analyse all this that you're not a wrong un and you've never got done for anything in your life? Think about that logically. So you could sit there disrespecting both of us, but you just brought us closer together and more stronger than before. It's kind of funny that, isn't it? You know, as they say, checkmate. I win, you lose. I'm very good at poker too in the cell community. You never know what my next hand will be. So that's us of 2025. Hope you have a great shitty fucking rest of the year. Have a great day and peace out.
Ta-ta.
You bacon.
Bastards.
Ta-ta.